you learn to express your authenticity through your dolls on the internet by doing your doll photography. Your dolls and your doll style kind of becomes your identity.
So we're back again and continuing from last week's episode, more of my birthday stuff, but then also talking a little bit deeper about other things in the doll community. So let's get to it.
So since it's your birthday, what are some dolls you're hoping to get, new or old?
Oof, that's tough because everything. One of each, please, of everything. Definitely like things we've been talking about, like Shadow High Series 3, I'm very excited about, just because I would collect those and get those for myself anyways, but if they're coming as a gift, it helps me financially. So wink, wink. Obviously the Vampire Heart, Draculaura, I really would love because I didn't pre-order that one. Oh, I'm trying to think of other dolls. Well, one doll that I bought myself actually yesterday, which I'll put it under my birthday umbrella. We went to Disneyland. First time at Disneyland. I was very excited. I'll blame the doll aisle for this. I did buy the 3-pack of the Illy dolls, the Christmas set, and they're absolutely adorable. So that was one that I genuinely was excited for my birthday, and I bought it for myself. So I bought my own present. But honestly, like just a lot of the newer stuff, because those are things that I would generally just buy anyways. So I feel like a lot of those newer dolls. Now, if you want me to mention some older stuff, I have been buying a lot of my old Barbies back a little bit on eBay here and there. And there is a particular series, which is like the Rose. Oh, I already forgot the name of the series now, but it's their old furniture from the late 80s. And I've been buying some of that up. So that's where my money's been going recently. Okay. But I can't put that on an Amazon wish list. So, but that's what I'm looking at now too.
My question is, like, out of like every birthday you've had, what is like one of like a doll that you got that just like was very special doll to you? Like, what is the doll that you think of, like a birthday doll?
Good point. Because we were talking about this actually, I think yesterday, and I was trying to think of that. For me, a lot of my dolls came at Christmas for some reason, and that's where most of my like doll gifting memories have come from. But going into my last few years of my birthday, I have always posted my Amazon wish list as you know, narcissistic as that is, I still love doing it. And I actually, Nudie, I have to give her a shout out, has always got me really great dolls for my birthday.
We love Nudie.
Nudie's amazing. Shout out to Nudie. We love you. I know you're probably watching or listening to this. You're so great. So I feel like anything that she's ever given me, those have been really special to me because that's from someone I've met within the doll community and has, I don't know, just really always meant a lot when people have the time to just, they think about me and buy stuff. And I really love that. You've always been really good too. You've been good at buying me dolls for my birthday, but I can't really think of like one that was like mind-blowing for me. I guess when Aladdin first came out, there was a couple Aladdin pieces I really did like, and my mom got me some Aladdin action figures.
I love that.
Yeah, but current stuff, I'd have to say like a lot of my doll friends have really stepped up the past couple of years and really have gotten me good dolls in general.
No, I love that. I also agree that like whenever you get a doll from a friend or like a dolly friend from the online, it makes it more special than just buying it in the store. It gives me more sentimental value. Like when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I remember I got that doll from so and so.
Yeah, same.
Okay, Chloe. She's not here, guys. It's okay.
I am here.
The coffee has not kicked in. She does have a
I'm just
like,
though. No, I'm just like thinking about, when you get a doll from someone, especially if someone you care for, like Nudie, like she's been so, I could go on and on about her because I love her, but like whenever I see a doll, I'm like, I remember when I got that doll. I remember opening her on live. I remember who gave it to me. We may not talk anymore, but she's there. I'm like, and that's what matters. Like, and I love that. I don't know what I'm gonna get Elvira that's gonna make her look at it and be like, Chloe gave me that. That's not gonna blend into the background.
Nobody has to ever, to me, it's like have to buy something as a gift. Like to me, like having just everybody around is fun. And I love talking to everybody and that. And even if people just saying happy birthday, I'm like, for someone to take the time to even think about me, to me is a gift within itself, because there's so much me and my TED podcast, TED movie talk, where it's like life is so chaotic. So to have somebody just take their time and go, it's her birthday, happy birthday, that is a lot. That is a lot. That is. And that's what that's like the best feeling. So no one out there, please don't feel like, oh my God, I have to go buy something. No, I mean, if you want to buy me something, I'll take it, but you don't have to. I just like that the concept of like everybody just like remembering each other. So that's why I try to be very, as much as I can, if I see somebody saying like, oh, it's their birthday today within the doll community, I always try to at least either DM them or post in their stories like, oh, happy birthday, to just let somebody know like, hey, we're thinking about you.
Agree.
That's what she said yesterday to me after she left a threatening note on my bed. So that I get her gifts.
It's like, no.
They're like, I
So
don't
the-
want anything, but like after the podcast, after we finish recording, she's gonna be like, again, this is my Amazon wish list. This is everything I want.
It's like, oh, there's a Target right up the road, and I see that your credit card's just sitting there in your wallet, not doing anything.
Well, it is Halloween season and I do go crazy. So some of my side note to go back to Joy's, which is some of my favorite gifts has been a lot of like my holiday, like Halloween decor, because I keep it around year round. Like my house, most of my house is like very gothic themed. And my parents have gotten me some really good goth decor. So that's another good memory too. I love cauldrons and spooky things. And my parents have gotten me some good Halloween things, but it's birthday stuff for me. So
I love that.
What would be a doll related birthday party that you would do if you were to plan a birthday party that's doll related?
Well, I've been lucky enough that I have already done them with Robin because Robin's birthday is fairly close to mine. So what was this, 8 years ago, we did a Monster High themed birthday party and everybody had to come dressed up as a different character. I was Operetta that year. I think Robin did Dracula. So I've been lucky enough that I've had doll themed parties already. The one that I would like to do is Rainbow High though, and everybody comes dressed up as a different Rainbow High character.
Okay, so then follow-up question for anybody is like, what's a way that you could make a really fun birthday party that isn't super expensive?
Ooh.
And then
I mean,
how you can
even
make
if it's like a Rainbow High party, I don't think it has to be that expensive, really. I mean, even for like the costumes, you're just like you can probably thrift most of the clothes. Yeah, you can probably thrift like the clothes and stuff, and for the decoration.
Make it yourself.
Yeah.
Make it yourself. Take some inspiration from
And what for people who are untalented?
For those people that are untalented, go to My Froggy Stuff.
That's
that
what
part.
about Froggy. What you trying to say?
She's crafty. She can teach them.
You're like untalented people watch Froggy.
Well,
they can learn.
that explains me.
For that reason, I'm not talented.
No, because I've tried several of those things and they never turn out right. I remember I took a interior design class in college and I had to do like an outdoor area and I saw a video of Froggy. She did like a grill. I tried to do it. She did not.
Two things. First of all, she is so talented. Nobody does it like Froggy. And secondly,
very
watched Trisha's podcast last night. And so this whole podcast, I've just been thinking of like, I just been thinking of, she said something to Terry Jo where she's like childhood trauma. And like, whenever you guys answer, it'd be like, is it because of childhood trauma?
She kept going.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like they were like,
okay,
I just like acting or do the voices. And they're like, but is it because of this? And she kept going back. And I'm like, she went in. I'm like, she's great.
But it was so
host.
funny. It was so funny.
So funny.
what? Huh? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
We love Trish.
I know. It's just, to me, she has one of the best.
I love how you just bounce from topic to topic.
I know we're just everywhere today. Well, it's my birthday when it's chaos. How my brain works, and I only
No,
sleep.
but I saw the I literally saw it when it was premiering. I couldn't miss it. I was so gagged when I saw it was Terry Jo. I'm like, I'm sad.
So good.
No one, phone on do not disturb.
I think we all have watched Trish over the years. To me, she has one of the best YouTube lives because she's been canceled, comes back better than ever, and changed a million times, reinvented herself, the Madonna of YouTube. Why not? We'll call her that. It's like, and now I feel like she's in such a great place that, I mean, look at her. She's like, I'm doing this podcast, and like the one with Tana, I think is up over 1.3 million views. This is fantastic. I mean, she's somebody who really like can show, whether you hate her or love her, you have to give her the credit of, wow, she never stopped. She would never let anyone defeat her. And she's better at the long run for it. I mean,
yeah.
And this is the way I see it and what I liked about, I've always loved Trisha. Like, I don't really believe in canceling, so I never cared about any of the controversies, but I see anybody as an internet personality as like entertainment. Even the same thing with Doja Cat. Somebody posted something about Doja Cat and they were asking for people's opinions. I don't normally share thoughts unless people ask, but they were asking like, how do you feel about Doja Cat? And the way I see it is like, I don't subscribe to people. I don't mean subscribe literally, but like I don't follow people or like admire entertainers because I want them to validate my experience. I don't want them to share my views. I just want to be entertained. Like, so if they're entertaining me in some way, that's all they're there for. They're not there to make me feel good about myself. They're not there to inspire me. There's some who are, and then you follow those people for those reasons. But I don't feel like it's just this weird unspoken rule that we expect anybody in entertainment to be this ideal or like role model, but sometimes people are just entertaining. And I think Trisha's unapologetically entertaining. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
It becomes unintentionally inspiring. Like she's a role model to people unintentionally through just existing, but she's just a good time gal. Like you have her.
She's just being herself, and people are identifying with that.
Yes.
Like literally, that's literally what happened, you know, because like you said, she's been through so much. And a lot of people just see themselves in Trish. I mean, I've been compared to Trish. So
period.
That's iconic.
You know, they were trying to use it as an insult, but I took it as a compliment because
Trish is stunning. Honestly, Trish is stunning. That is a compliment all full way. A businesswoman, a woman who literally, I hate to say, lives in a giant mansion with a great husband and living a great life and gets to get in full glam and interview Terry Joe. I'm sorry.
Period.
Spinning.
She's living our dream.
Right.
She's like the epitome of resilience. And I guess it ties into dolls because I feel like she's like a doll. You know, she's part of the doll.
Yeah.
Where's the Trisha doll? Give me that.
Yeah.
Right. I could see Integrity Toys doing something like that. But she,
oh my God, I'd live.
She's just like resilient. And I think just, again, unapologetically entertaining. And I do think that that's what I love. Like when I watch content, I love people who are just kind of like unfiltered, unapologetically themselves and entertaining in a fun, fresh way. And I also appreciate that in dolls. I think that's what I like about innovation in toys is you can feel when people are holding themselves back. You can feel when a doll line like didn't want to take it there the way you can with an entertainer. It's kind of like,
and we all do that. I think all of us, I mean, is obviously none of us are at Trisha level of life, but I mean, just in general, I feel like people, they only want to show the good things on the internet. They only want to show a certain persona because they're afraid to be 100% raw, 100% themselves, because you brought up being polarizing, you know, because people want to just be loved and accepted and make everybody happy around them. Right. So, but why are we attracted to watching people like Trisha? It's still because she's just her. Like, you know, I mean, Chloe said the best, like she's her and it's entertainment. She's
just Trish.
She's just Trish.
Yeah. And I like how it just seems so natural. Like she's just talking. She's not making a character. She's just talking. Like I see other podcasts and people overreact for the smallest things. And I just, I don't like that. Or like whenever you see those obnoxious influencers on TikTok, they're like, I just got this and this is this. And like, there's the first bite of this. And I'm like, okay. I don't. It needs to feel natural to me. I don't like when people force stuff. Like I can tell, like, okay.
I feel like I've been guilty of responding that way with certain products, especially when I was doing beauty. It's always like, oh my God, thank you so much. But now, like, first of all, like I'm 23. So like as you age in general, I think you discover your personality more. But I mean, I guess I don't shame it or like fault it, but it definitely is like, you know, it's just not my cup of tea either. Like it's
right. You do your thing, but it's just like to me when I'm seeing it, I'm like, I'm just okay.
It feels like a character, and you can pick up on that really easily. And I think with Trisha, it's not a character; it's just her.
Yeah,
and that's why I think it works.
And then, like even to that point, like. I don't mind when people are like Terry Joe. Like it's entertaining if you're willing to take it there.
Yeah.
I think it's when you can sense when people are like, they want to do something, but they're afraid to do it. It's okay to be a character. Like it's fine to perform in some way. Again, it's when you're on the internet and you're putting stuff out there, it's entertaining. I think in general in human life, like you're constantly performing, but like Lady Gaga says, like you're the art director of your life. And I feel like you're either a good director or you're not. And if you're
I need to fire myself.
That's boring. Like people get bored.
Yeah, or it becomes like almost like I don't want to use the word cringy, but it comes uncomfortable a little bit.
Yes.
It comes a little uncomfortable. Like you're like, again, coming with the place of like not feeling connected, not feeling natural, real. I mean, like I said, we all do it though, whether it's in real life or on the internet. And that's what I think holds a lot of us back. And I mean, even I'll take guilt for myself. Like there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I think that's hilarious. I'll do it. But I'm like, I'm going to get backlash for it, or somebody's going to call me out, or I have to deal with that, or I'm going to have to delete it 10 days later, you know? And it's like, I'd rather not even post anything or be myself because you're going to hear so much backlash about it. So it's like trying to balance that, I think is a little difficult because you know, it's like, how much do you really show yourself honest, raw? If you do it, you got to go full force. And I think that's why I think Trisha is doing so much better now, because she's literally being her, where before I think she was kind of pulling a little bit of the character role a little bit.
Yes, it was a little,
So.
I think she was discovering herself is the way that I perceive it from the outside looking in. But it's just all very interesting and also very arbitrary. Like what's good and bad is also subjective, which I think I've realized too. I think I also censor myself online. I think again, like you were saying, everybody does. But I think it's important to speak to the doll community specifically, because I think that there's a lot of like self-censorship that happens because the people who are loud are very loud. But you do find that no one's alone. Like you look at, I mean, I think of like the absolutely absurd politics that go on and things that are like, this is just entirely untrue. And there's such mass amounts of people who agree with those people. There's always going to be people who agree with you and always people who agree with them. So it's like, are you going to self-censor yourself and like live a life of inauthenticity, or are you going to put yourself out there and like, yeah, and be the doll? Like,
yeah.
And
I think like I agree with you when it comes to like age, because you know, at my ripe age of 22, you know, because I just turned 22, I learned that I just let things roll off my back a little bit more than before. And I mean, because I've always been very much like, I got bullied obviously in school all the time for different things, and I always just rolled with it. And I think I've taken that now into almost like my internet life, where I'm just like, people do come and say things, but also then I'm like, as a grown adult here, I'm like, do I even bother posting this? Because then I'm gonna have to deal with it. So I am trying to balance that a little bit more. But I notice I agree with you, as you age, and I think why Trisha is doing so much better now is because she is in her mid 30s, and she's now finding a place where like, you know what? People are going to come at you. They're going to come at you regardless. So just run with the punches kind of scenario.
I know I'm like dominating the convo right now, but
this is the fun episode, everyone. No, I'm kidding.
But I would say, you know, just to be fair and to clarify, I do think with everything I'm saying, you know, we're not tackling every section of intersectionality and all the different issues that might come into play as to why people don't always just put themselves out there. It's also not always safe for people, which bringing it back to dolls, I think is why there's a lot of people in the doll community. We none of us are this way because we all show our face. But I would say a majority of the doll community, we don't know their names. We don't know what they look like. You learn to express your authenticity through your dolls on the internet by doing your doll photography. Your dolls and your doll style kind of becomes your identity. And I think there's something really interesting there too that like I want to research and understand more, is how people kind of do drag through dolls, because they create a persona on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. That is a really good point.
I really like that.
We need a part 2 of this podcast.
I know. Oh, wait. Side note, everybody, for episode, it will still be. I'm still going to be here in LA, so yes, we'll have more of the Claudina hour. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, I'm loving this Claudina hour.
/ birthday continuation.
Yes.
Either of you ever had doll accounts where you don't show your face?
No.
Well,
no.
That was so good.
Was that? I'm like, huh? Oh.
No,
Chloe, I don't think your account didn't start as a doll account, right? Chloe was just a personal account.
So I was a viewer. I would watch everyone, and secretly I would have my bookcases of dolls. And I think it dawned upon me one day that I wasn't fully living what I wanted to live in my life. And it was around the time where I was just discovering who I was. And I think it was the same year I officially came out as transgender, and I changed my name and all of that. So I also told myself, if you're doing all of this, you need to be open about a hobby, something you love. And that's when I posted that Rainbow High picture with all of Series 1, all of Series 2. And that was kind of my introduction into the doll community. After that, I started following more people. I got, you know, a lot of friends that I talk to now that way. I mean, me and Johnny literally started talking within a month of that. Yeah, that's how it happened for me. That's how I started. My account is my account, because that was one thing I wanted to make very, very clear. This is Chloe's world. It's my world, and I'm going to show you my world. And if I would have started an account where it was just like doll related, that's another part of who I am, but it's still a part of me. So I'm like, I don't want to separate. That was a huge issue for me too, that I don't want to separate everything in my world into different accounts and different channels and different this and different that. I want it all to be in one place. I want everybody to go to my account and see all of my pictures and be like, oh, she has these pictures of herself. She also posted some pictures of dolls. She posted pictures of this and that and this and videos and whatnot. That's what I wanted for my account. And that's why I didn't choose to make like a secret or like, doll account. That was just my.
I have a question, and then I also just wanted to say quickly, I love how you worded that, because it's almost like you're not compartmentalizing yourself. Like you are unapologetically integrating all the parts of yourself into one through this account. Do you ever feel like you regretted showing people that you collect dolls?
No.
And there's like a reason I'm asking. It's gonna have like a follow-up question.
I don't regret it, because for many, many years I wanted to show people that side of me. And because I was too afraid of, I was holding myself back from criticism. I was holding myself back from my own insecurities with people. I was like, well, I am still discovering who I am, and I'm going to be showing people that I like dolls. People are going to think I'm crazy. And, it's just going to be a lot of things that I was fearing for myself. But I think once I fully came out and I was like, you need to stop feeling that fear, because you're losing time. Time is going by and you're getting older and you're not doing the things that you love. I told myself that by the age of 25, I was going to have this and that and do this and that and this. I am 27 and I am still nowhere near that quote unquote dream of mine, So when I decided to fully be public about liking dolls, and what I mean by public is just that everybody who followed me at the time probably didn't know that I collected dolls unless I told them personally. There were a few people who knew, but it wasn't like a thing where I was putting it out there. I wasn't showing it for everyone to see. So when I did that, I was like, you know what? This is just me. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, unfollow me. I don't care. Like, unfollow me. I'm gonna find my audience.
The courage. I feel like people are gonna listen and be so inspired by that. I mean, even me listening to this, I can speak for everybody, but I feel like we can all probably agree that was very inspiring.
Yeah, I love that.
And my follow-up is, do you feel like putting yourself out there with dolls has been perfect?
No, it's not. Like, I had a vision of what I wanted, like I said, whenever I threw myself out there. And I've gotten some amazing experiences, but I've also had some horrible experiences. And I've also learned a lot with everything that's happened in the past few years. It's not perfect, but I think that's why I like it, because my dolls are perfect, but I don't have to be perfect, if that makes sense.
So not to make an example out of you, but like, I loved hearing your story, and I was like, this is a perfect example of what we were saying about Trisha, and like everything we were saying before, is living in your authenticity. You would choose to be authentic with its flaws than inauthentic with the regret of not putting yourself out there. And that's kind of the point, is like, it's not you don't put yourself out there and then you feel perfect and nothing horrible happens. Like, you're not raw and vulnerable and then everybody loves you. That's not what happens. But still, I mean, I was about to say something, but then it would be a spoiler. It's like, people in general, it feels more human and natural and authentic, and just it in a way that I can't describe. It's almost like a vibe. Like, it just feels good to choose not to choose self-censorship in spite of all the flaws and like criticism that you might receive in spite of that. And like, because even being in the doll collecting space, regardless of anything, there's going to be people who just look at you for collecting dolls and being like, that's weird. I mean, I get it all the time, but you still choose to do it because it makes
me happy.
It makes me happy. I think for many, many years I was unhappy with the way I was living with myself, that I think opening up and just being happy, even if it doesn't mean I'm happy all the time, I'm still very happy, because I got to meet amazing friends, and I would have never met any of them if I would have not opened myself up to that. I started my YouTube channel and I was slowly learning, and I would have never reached the people that I have through my YouTube channel. Even though it's so small, I see comments from people saying that I'm pretty and they like this and they like that. And I would have never received those comments if I wouldn't have opened myself up to that. I would have never met you guys. Yeah, no, I don't regret anything. I really don't.
We love that.
Yeah, that's really
You
good.
go, girl.
That's
Like,
good.
That was
insert
good.
applause.
This whole episode, Chloe was like, I was just waiting for this question, so that's why I was nodding the
I'm
I'm
here
like-
for you showing yourself, Chloe, because I love you so much. And bestie.
Why doll collecting is meaningful, or like why choosing to be a doll collector is like it is brave. Like I feel like that's kind of
Yeah.
what we're talking about, is like, again, choosing to follow your passions or interests, because I'm sure that we've all seen the messages or like comments where people are like, you're so inspiring for collecting dolls. Like I feel like anybody who's a doll collector that puts their face with their profile gets those types of messages.
Because you're really opening yourself up to criticism. You really are.
Yeah, I mean, undoubtedly, it's for a multitude of reasons, but
Yeah, I mean, that also mean outside of just dolls too. But I mean, anytime you put yourself out there for anything, I feel like you could get criticism, you know. And so it's like, and I do feel a little sad that I have, because again, I got on the internet older than a lot of other people have, but for me, I've always separated everything. So I have almost this opposite story of play, which I'm kind of jealous of, not jealous, but like envious, I guess is a better word, of how you were just like, oh, I want to do this one page and it's just going to be me. And I'm like, oh, I love that. I feel like I'm always so separate within my life, because that's where I guess maybe the old school way of thinking of like, well, oh, you have your work life, you have this life, you have your doll life, you have your personal life, you have this life, you know, and it's like you have folders almost. It sometimes can be very, to me, overwhelming and exhausting, where I try to keep my life so separate, so many different aspects of my life hidden away, just because I don't want them to intermix because of the concern of work related things or keeping separate projects. But I hear stories of that where everybody's just like, oh, it's just me, or it's just that one thing. And I'm like, oh, that's so amazing. And I would love to have that.
yeah.
I'm very envious of that, you know, of just being able to just be so raw and that one,
It's
you know.
it is very inspiring,
Yeah.
like very resilient.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And bow. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you. I'll take it.
So today's episode, well, part 2 of the last episode, was a little different. Obviously, we started off with birthday stuff and going into different dolls that we're looking forward to, and then going into how inspiring Chloe is, and then and just different topics and deep things about the doll community, because there is so many aspects of it. I mean, there's more to doll collecting than just buying dolls. And I really hope that people found this episode enlightening and interesting. And if you want more of stuff like this, obviously throw in the comments. I mean, we love talking about literally just new dolls or dolls that are coming out, but I want to talk about other aspects of things, whether it's Trisha or Instagram pages or whatever it may be. So let us know, and definitely follow us all on our separate socials, which will be listed in the video version down below in the description. So thank you everybody for joining me for my birthday and being here and supporting and loving me. Yes. Until next time, make sure to always check out the Doll Awards. They're coming up. I can't believe it. We're down to what, 3 months? 3 months?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Oh my
It's like
God, don't
so
remind me.
closer. Yeah. So follow at the Doll Awards on Instagram for all of the Doll Awards updates. Until next time, bye.
Bye.